What's one food everyone seems to go crazy for, but you just don't understand the hype? Well, people are following the assignment, because this is just a big list of foods I like. Crumble cookies. Can it be a beverage? 'Cause I kind of hate IPAs, but everyone else seems to love them, and I like beer. Just not IPAs. Energy drinks like Red Bull or Monster. Truffles. I paid $60 this weekend at an Italian restaurant for 8 slivers on my pasta shaved in front of me. I barely tasted anything. I don't get the hype. Edit ad. Here's a photo of what I ate. https i.postimage.cc/7ht1plbb/trufflesonpasta.jpg. I did mix it in after being served right after I snapped this pic as instructed to do by the server. Pumpkin spice. It's fine, but absolutely not anything to make a fuss about. What's undoubtedly the scariest drug in existence? My brother did Angel's trumpets. Datura. Twice. He was completely off in his own world both times. I think it permanently altered his personality because he was never the same afterwards. And is now just a complete clusterfuck. If I had to choose the scariest thing someone would sneakily slip me, it would probably have to be Angel's trumpet. Deliriants. Datura. Scopolamine. DPH. Etc. They're absolute nightmare drugs. Crazy hellish hallucinations. Trees leaking blood. Glass spiders crawling out of your friend's eyes. A room full of shadow creatures. That sort of thing. And no fun, to speak of. Plus they can cause permanent brain damage. They're also very addictive for some reason. Despite breaking a lot of rules on what makes something addictive. And scientists aren't quite sure why. Even hardcore drug users stay far away from them. Datura. I had a friend use it and he ended up thinking he was Super Mario in a video game that was going to get cancelled, killing him. He was hospitalized for a couple days in a psych ward. He was doing crazy shit like trying to wall jump, and talking about how he lost his powers and was on his last life. I don't think he ever fully recovered. He was always different after that. I've known him for 25 years. I think he may be mildly schizophrenic. Scopolamine, nicknamed Devil's Breath, is the South American mind-altering drug considered the scariest drug in the world by many. I would toss crocodile in the category of very scary drugs. It's semi-synthetic morphine that causes necrosis at the injection site. I do not recommend searching for images. From what I heard, deliriants are something not to be messed with. What movie is totally stupid or makes no sense, but people act like it's really deep? The Secret. According to Elaine Bennis, the English Patient. Eat, Pray, Love. In this thread, people who are confused by the question, do I just not understand what deep means? Because aside from the English Patient, none of the top answers in this thread are widely considered deep. Hell, American Sniper is near the top and it's about as deep as a birdbath. Crash, the racist one, not the car sex one. What's the most ridiculous, first world problem you've seen people get worked up over? My boss from about a decade ago was this insanely rich dude who always went to the bank to get fresh and crisp currency. He'd call the bank in ad Viennese to make sure they had some on hand. I think he was a germaphobe. He had a trash can that he'd throw $1 and $5 bills in that he thought was dirty, and regularly just donated it versus spending it. I asked him why he did this and he said it was too much trouble and asked if I wanted it. I said fuck yeah, dumped it into my bag, and when I got home it was close to $400 in singles and fives. Edit. Whoa, didn't expect such a response. Another time, he wanted to upgrade all the computers in his studio. So we went to a store and bought 10 PCs. They all had $150 mail-in rebates and he wasn't bothered to go through the trouble of mailing them in. 3 weeks later I received $1,500 after spending a whole afternoon filling out all those goddamn forms. The blue of the balloons wasn't quite the same as the bridesmaids' sashes. Years ago my wife and I attended a wedding. It was very low-key. The dinner was in the dining hall at the university where the couple met. Cinder block walls and all. It was a Baptist wedding, no booze and very serious. The dark blue balloons attempting to liven up the hall were a slightly darker shade of blue than the sashes on the bridesmaids' dresses. The bride lost her shit and absolutely raved for nearly an hour. I can't remember how they finally managed to talk her down. Weddings are a gold mine for this question. People get so hyped up over their most important day of their life, they'll destroy friendships, go into debt, and have crazy expectations. It's not always the couple who go crazy, either. Sometimes it's the parents or another family member who feels entitled to control the wedding. It's just a party. Be considerate of guests. Have plenty of food and drinks. And enjoy it. When I was about 19 years old, I was at my boyfriend's family barbecue. I was wearing this pretty floral sundress. His cousin's girlfriend showed up in the same dress and she was so mad that she went and changed. I will never understand being upset when someone is wearing the same thing as you. Did you really think that your shirt you bought off the rack is going to be unique to you? No. Rich neighbors who end up in expensive court battles because they disagree about where a tree can be planted or whether the color of a fence fits in with the street's amenity. These disputes get really heated and rack up huge lawyers' bills. The most pathetic part is after the judgment when they are arguing about who should pay the other party's costs. Lots of affidavits filed citing the emotional distress they had to endure, or painting themselves as brave warriors who were forced to take a stand to fight for justice. Also lots of pompous litigants insisting that the judge refer to them by their doctor title. An absolutely insane dumpster fire of entitled rich people problems. Anything Starbucks related. Holiday cups. Star rewards points reset. Pay it forward etiquette. Whatever. What's the worst double standard you ever heard? I have a relative who will spread rumors about you and make up the worst lie they can. But God forbid you tell anyone what they do and they come crying like you just shot their newborn. They also dislike people who own debts and don't pay what they owe. He owes everyone money and refuses to owe them back. It's okay if I get insulted and belittled. But standing up for myself is overreacting. It's frustrating. I received a 5-year sentence for an ounce of cannabis. The lady tried right before me received a 1-year suspended sentence for killing a single father of 3 and one of his kids while she was driving drunk. It was her 5th DUI, and her license was already permanently revoked. Neighbor number 1 moans about next doors. Neighbor number 2. Dog barking tells her to use an electric dog collar to shut it up. Which she does. Then that same neighbor number 1 complains about her own dogs barking at my cat. I buy her some dog collars and give them to her to use on her own dogs. Suddenly dog collars are cruel and she will never use them on her own dogs. Person shrugging light skin tone female sign. Person shrugging light skin tone female sign. Person shrugging light skin tone female sign. Homophobic politicians being caught doing gay orgies. People like my grandma. When I got pregnant with each of my 3 kids cried and moaned that I shouldn't be doing it. But when I said I wanted a hysterectomy because there is a very good chance a 4th pregnancy will not end well and the fact I don't want any more, she again cried because I might divorce my husband and find another man who wants kids. Well, I neither want to divorce my husband or die, suffer a miscarriage, or be in a position where I can't care for my 3 young living children because of something I can prevent. You can't moan about people having kids and moan about people preventing themselves from having any kids because the consequences could be fatal. Subscribe, my brothers.